So is your MSSP able to stand out in its very crowded marketplace? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to give you some ways to think about differentiation in a way that actually means something to your customer segments. This is probably one of the most common issues or challenges that I'm told about when I speak to owners and sales and marketing leaders inside of MSSPs. So hopefully this video is going to really help if you're watching this and you're thinking about how you can differentiate your MSSP. So let's jump straight into it. So differentiation is your starting point for higher value clients that take up the least amount of your time and give you fewer issues. And the reason for this is because when you differentiate in a meaningful way to your ideal customer profiles, you're able to attract more of the customers that you want to serve and more of the customers that you're better equipped to serve. It leads to shorter sales cycles and improved sales conversion. An improved lead quality is also a byproduct of proper differentiation, and this includes your referral lead. You no longer compete on price or much less than you would have formerly because you are being evaluated as a one-of-one MSSP. Just think about it. They can't compare you with your competition if you have a differentiated offering on price alone. Other factors come into the decision-making process. And there's a whole lot more. So key thing to note and key thing to think about when you think about how can you differentiate your MSSP is that not all differentiation is created equal and not all differentiation is actually valuable. You need to differentiate your MSSP in a way that your audience values enough to pay a premium for. All right. And so you need to be thinking in terms of what's important to them that they're prepared to pay a premium for. So how do you differentiate your MSSP? I'm going to talk through a couple of ideas, and these are proven tactics that we use with our client base and that I've been using in my career for over 20 years with great success. So identify a few high value customer segments. So do an audit. Which of your ICPs or ideal customer profiles are worth the most to you, are in growing industries, are giving you the less headaches. That's a good place to start to think about where you may want to focus. All right. What existing customer segments do you have a strong fit with? And then you need to deeply understand. All right. Only when you really understand your ideal customer profiles can you differentiate in a way that is meaningful to them and stands out and they're prepared to pay a premium for. So you need to know what troubles they're facing that you can solve for. All right. And so that comes about by speaking with them and really understanding them. You need to know what language they use. You need to know the jargon, the specifics, the specific challenges that they're having in those key customer profiles that you have identified. And importantly, you need to know the industry trends. You need to stay on top of this. You need to be speaking to them. You need to be doing research. When you can demonstrate to your customers that you're thinking about things that are perhaps not even on their radar or they've just come across their radar and you're already thinking about how you can solve those problems or develop products that service them to assist with those problems, then you're positioning yourself as a marketplace expert that your competition is not able to compete. And importantly, know the decision makers and stakeholders involved in buying cybersecurity services. All right. Now, how can you go about doing all this? Well, to begin with, I strongly recommend interviewing 5 to 10 of those clients in those key segments that you want to focus on, right? Regularly speak with your clients. You can obviously wind back the cadence after you get those initial insights and results, but you want to have a regular cadence of speaking with your clients, right? And so this can be done in several different ways. It could be done in interviews. It could be listening to calls. It can be listening to exit surveys, all that sort of stuff. And a couple of those I've listed here. But what's important is when you speak with your clients and you ask them about problems or pains or troubles or things that are on their mind, and they give you an answer, you need to peel back the onion layers. You need to perhaps do the 5 whys analysis for anyone who's familiar, asking why. Why is that a problem? Okay, but why is that important to you? Only then will you really get to the core issues in the business or the core challenges that your ideal customer profiles are facing in their day-to-day or facing when they think about planning for their business. So it's a really important skill to develop when you're interviewing your clients is to peel back the onion layers and go a few layers deeper and find out what's really the problem in the business. And the last point here is stay focused on a few high value ICPs. I know a lot of you watching this are probably thinking, well, but we have clients in in many different industries. And if we narrowly focus, then we're going to be leaving money on the table. My answer to that is you're never leaving money on the table when you niche down and you focus on a few high value customers, because you will, for all the reasons we've already identified, you will get more of those higher value clients that you want to service. And you also, another thing to think about, you don't actually need to just service or position your company as working with one or two industries or niches or subsectors of a niche, but you need to give the appearance of doing so. And so some ways you can do that is thinking about having very narrowly focused sales and marketing messaging, right? So you might build out a website that speaks specific to the accounting industry, right? Or perhaps you're going after construction. Perhaps you're selling cybersecurity to construction industries or some other industry subject to GRC. You need to give the appearance that you're a specialist, because you are a specialist, but you need to be able to communicate that, right? So building out a separate landing page, building out a separate website, building out an email sequence that nurtures them, that shows them case studies from businesses like them, that speaks to their pain points, that uses their language. These are all the things that you need to do to demonstrate an expertise with a specific customer segment. So let's talk about some examples of differentiation that build enterprise value. All right, so we've talked about this a little bit, and this is a common theme. Be a specialist for specific niches or sub-niches. And this is both in the front end and in the back end. So the front end is your sales and marketing, but also in your product and service delivery. So how you develop a product, which is essentially, the combination of services and software that you provide, right? Thinking about what is the right combination of software and services for your customer segments, because you understand them, you know the challenges that they have, and you know what challenges are coming up over the next 12 months. All right, so really focusing and narrowing down is going to be one of your biggest and most effective sources of differentiation. Anticipate the evolving needs of your customer segments. And I've already touched on this, but only when you understand them can you get ahead of the pack, get ahead of your competition, and demonstrate to your target audience that you understand them better than anyone else. Embed trust into your company DNA every day. It's no surprise. We all know that our client bases, our clients, your clients, are buying trust. And oftentimes this will come down to the soft skills of your salespeople or even your support people, your sales engineer, and what your company reputation is in the marketplace. The good thing about narrowing your focus and niching down on a few high value customer segments is that your reputation spreads a lot faster. And so it's a double-edged sword, but if you're in the game to be the very best at your game and you want to build a business based on trust and good service, then this is an opportunity, and this is where the cream of the crop really comes to the top. Understand inherent advantages you provide versus your competition. So the example I give here is, there's a lot of private equity firms and other conglomerates that are, acquiring smaller MSPs and MSSPs. And as the owner of a small MSP or MSSP in a marketplace that is now competing with one of these acquired firms that has the backing of much bigger budgets, the backing of a globally recognized brand name perhaps, you think, well, how can I compete? You need to understand what your inherent advantages are versus a business that's just been acquired. So you might want to be thinking about, you might want to emphasize the white label service that you're able to provide. You might want to emphasize the fact that your customers will have a singular point of contact, and it's still got that family feel, because there's definitely a lot of your clients that are going to value that above all else. And conversely, if you are now one of those acquired companies that has the backing of a bigger business and all the operational advantages, and you're able to leverage their resources, then you want to be focusing on your inherent advantages, right? So you don't have a singular point of contact, because you're able to give your clients experts in each part of your service offering, so that when they speak to someone, they're speaking to someone who is extremely skilled and is an expert figure in that particular service, or every single service, or every single part of your cybersecurity offering. And so just every business has inherent advantages and disadvantages. So you need to understand from the point of view from your customer base what's important and how you can speak to those. All right. So This last one will take a little bit of thinking, and it's something that you need to work on, but radically rethink your value proposition to each key ideal customer profile, or ICP. This does take some work, but perhaps you're not in the business of providing cybersecurity services to construction industries. Perhaps you reposition yourself in a way that gets your audience to think about you completely different, in a way that's valuable to them. Perhaps you're a business continuation part. Just readjusting and reframing how your audience sees you. But as long as it's something that's important to them, can not only separate you from the competition, but also at the same time increase the perceived value of what you do for your clients. So if you need help standing out from your competition, then you might want to talk to us. We help you deeply understand your audience and narrow your focus, develop messaging and distinct offers for your key customer segments. We build upon your current sales process to make it more effective and to reduce your sales cycle length. We build you an organic lead generation machine, and we typically start in a done for you model to get everything working and making sure everything is, humming along, and we're generating new clients and generating new revenue. We then coach and consult until the point that your team is able to take on board the systems and skills that we've given them, and so they can power the growth of your business going forward. We'll help you add 1 to 2 new clients every month, and we even offer a 200% R.O.I guarantee. We'll build you the lead generation machine, a proven and repeatable sales process. We'll implement AI and automation into your sales process, increase retainers, longer tenured clients. And the last thing I'll say is about our model is we work with you in the areas that you most need help with. So you may not need a lead generation machine. We do have a core set of competencies, but we sort of customize those to where you most need help. And I said I would give you, the one thing that those businesses that are not struggling differentiation that they do, and it's probably no surprise. They niche down and they focus on a few high value customer segments, and they're known within that industry as being an expert and being the very best at what they do. And that brings about lots of referred business. It results in shorter sales cycle, higher value clients, and a more profitable business ultimately. So thank you for your time. I hope you got some value from this.